Before the crown chose its owner, before betrayal walked freely in Umu-Nze village, and before tears soaked the palace ground, two girls once believed their friendship could never break. This is how their story began. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful African tale. Umu-Nze village was peaceful in those days. The air smelled of fresh earth and palm wine, children ran freely, and elders sat under the big Iroko tree, sharing wisdom. Among all the children in Umu-Nze, two girls stood out, Nkiru and Amara. They grew up together, side by side, like twin rivers flowing in the same direction. If Nkiru went to the stream, Amara followed. If Amara laughed, Nkiru's laughter followed soon after. The people of the village often said, "These two girls have one soul in two bodies." Nkiru was calm and gentle. Her words were few, but her heart was large. She greeted everyone with respect and helped without being asked. Amara was different. She was bold, outspoken, and full of dreams. She loved attention and believed she was meant for something greater. Yet, there was no envy between them then. Only love, only trust. Every evening after the sun dipped behind the hills, they met near the river. It was their secret place. One evening, as the moon shone brightly on the water, Amara broke the silence. "Nkiru," she asked softly, "do you think life will always keep us together?" Nkiru smiled and answered without thinking, "Yes, nothing can ever come between us." Amara bent down and drew a circle in the sand. "This is our bond," she said. "No matter where life takes us, we stay inside this circle." Nkiru nodded and placed her hand over Amara's. They made a promise that night. They said, no matter who becomes greater, no matter who rises higher, jealousy will never live between us. The wind blew gently, as if the earth itself was listening. Not far from them, an elderly woman paused on her walking stick. She watched the girls quietly. She was the queen mother, though they did not recognize her. She shook her head slowly and whispered, "The heart is pure when nothing is being tested." The girls did not hear her. They laughed, splashed water, and ran home, unaware that destiny had already marked them. Because deep within Umu-Nze village, a crown was waiting, and only one of them would wear it. The next morning, Umu-Nze village woke to the sound of drums. Not the usual festival drums. These were heavier, louder, full of meaning. The king, Eze Okori, had announced that a crown would soon choose its new queen. Whispers spread quickly. Everyone in the village had an opinion, and everyone wanted to guess who would be chosen. Do you think it will be one of the girls? Maybe it's the daughters of the wealthy families. Or maybe the chosen one is someone we have never noticed. Nkiru and Amara overheard the villagers talking as they walked to the river that evening. Amara's eyes sparkled with excitement. "This could be it, Nkiru. Maybe destiny has chosen me," she said, her voice trembling with hope. Nkiru smiled softly. "Destiny chooses who it will, Amara. There's nothing we can do but trust it." Amara frowned slightly. "But what if it chooses you?" Her heart beat fast, but she hid it behind a smile. For days, the entire village prepared. The streets were decorated with colorful cloths and beads. The women sang songs of hope and celebration. The children ran about laughing, unaware of the tension rising in the hearts of the grown-ups. Meanwhile, the queen mother, Lolo Ifunanya, watched carefully. She had seen many destinies unfold. She observed the girls, sensing something hidden in Amara's heart, a small shadow of envy, a tiny flicker that could grow into fire. One afternoon, she called the two girls to her. "Girls," she said softly, "the crown is not a reward for those who wish it. It chooses the one whose heart is ready." Nkiru nodded, taking her words seriously. Amara forced a smile, but clenched her fists beneath her cloth. That night, by the river, the two girls made their last promise. "Whatever happens," said Nkiru, "we will remain true to each other." "Yes," Amara replied, though her voice was quieter than before. Her thoughts, however, began to drift to the crown, to the attention, to the power it would bring. The wind carried whispers through Umu-Nze village, as if the earth itself was preparing for what was to come. The crown would choose soon, and nothing in the girls' lives would ever be the same again. The day of the crown selection arrived. The sun rose over Umu-Nze village, golden and proud, as if it knew the lives of two girls were about to change forever. The village square was filled with people. Elders sat in their carved chairs, children whispered to each other, and the air smelled of fresh palm wine and roasted yam. At the center of the square, on a raised platform, lay the golden crown, shining in the sunlight. The king, Eze Okore, stood beside it. His voice was strong but kind. "Today," he announced, "the crown will choose the girl whose heart is ready. Let destiny reveal its choice." One by one, the girls of the village stepped forward. Some bowed humbly, some smiled proudly, but the crown remained still, gleaming as if waiting for the right soul. Nkiru and Amara stood side by side. Nkiru's hands were folded calmly. Her eyes were gentle, full of respect and hope. Amara's hands were clenched at her sides. Her eyes flickered with excitement, and something else, a small shadow of doubt. The Queen Mother, Lolo Ifunoya, whispered from the side, "Remember, it is not beauty, nor wealth, nor ambition. The crown chooses only the heart that is pure." The villagers held their breath as the crown began to glow softly. A warm light surrounded Nkiru. Her eyes widened in surprise. She stepped forward instinctively, guided by a quiet force. The crown lifted from the platform as if carried by invisible hands, and then slowly it descended onto Nkiru's head. A cheer erupted from the crowd. Some bowed in respect, some whispered prayers, and some looked on in stunned silence. Mara stood frozen. Her smile faltered. Her heart pounded. She forced a clap, but inside, a storm was growing. The Queen Mother approached Nkiru, placing her hand gently on the girl's shoulder. "You have been chosen," she said softly. "Remember your promise. Remember who you are." Nkiru bowed her head humbly. "Thank you," she whispered. Her voice shook slightly, but her heart was calm. Amara turned away, hiding her face behind her hands. Her thoughts were spinning. Why not me? Why did destiny choose her? A small flame of jealousy began to glow, quiet and hidden, but it would not stay small for long. That evening, Nkiru returned home to her mother's warm embrace. Amara returned home silently, her mind racing with possibilities and regrets. The next morning, the village spoke only of the chosen queen. Some celebrated, some wondered, and some silently wished things were different. But in the heart of Umu-Nze village, a quiet tension had begun. A crown had chosen Nkiru, but destiny had also planted the first seeds of envy.
The days after the crown ceremony were filled with celebration in Umu-Nze village. Nkiru walked with quiet grace, her heart full of gratitude. The villagers greeted her warmly, and even the elders nodded in respect. Amara watched from the shadows. At first, she smiled and clapped for her friend, but each smile felt heavier than the last. Every cheer made her heart ache. Every blessing from Nkiru whispered, "Why not me? Why didn't the crown choose me?" She tried to hide it. She forced herself to speak politely, to laugh, to act like nothing had changed. But inside, a storm was brewing, quiet and dangerous. One evening, the two girls sat by the river, their old place. "Nkiru," Amara began, her voice soft. You look so happy. I am glad for you." Nkiru smiled, unaware of the tension. "Thank you, Amara. I could never have done this without your friendship and guidance all these years." Amara's smile did not reach her eyes. "Guidance," she thought. "This should have been mine. I deserved this." Days passed and Amara began to notice how villagers now treated Nkiru differently. When she walked through the village, people bowed. When she spoke, elders listened. Even the children called Nkiru our queen. Every compliment Nkiru received felt like a thorn in Amara's heart. The queen mother, sensing the change, approached Amara one evening. "Amara," she said gently, "the heart must remain pure even when it is tested. Do not let envy grow in your soul." Amara clenched her fists, hiding her emotions. I am not envious," she whispered, though her voice trembled. That night, as Amara lay awake, thoughts crowded her mind. Why her? Why not me? She remembered the promise by the river. We will never let jealousy enter our hearts. Her eyes filled with tears, but not of sadness, of longing, frustration, and something darker. A silent thought whispered, "Maybe I could still have what is mine by right." Meanwhile, Nkiru went about her daily life unaware of the quiet shadow growing beside her. She helped villagers, greeted elders, and remained humble, keeping her promise. But even the purest hearts cannot always sense the danger coming quietly from the closest friend. In Umu-Nze village, the air grew heavier. The laughter by the river became less frequent, and the first signs of betrayal were already forming, invisible but unstoppable.
The moon hung high over Umu-Nze village, casting silver light on rooftops and riverbanks. The village was quiet, almost holding its breath. Nkiru returned from the king's palace, smiling softly. She had spent the day helping villagers, visiting elders, and learning the duties of a chosen queen. Her heart was light, unaware of the storm brewing beside her. Amara watched her from the shadows near the river. Her eyes burned with envy, her hands trembling as her heart raced. Why must she shine while I am left in the dark? Amara thought. Why does destiny choose her over me? That night, Amara made a decision. A thought, quiet at first, grew louder in her mind. If the crown took what should have been mine, then I must take it by other means. She waited until the village slept. The only sounds were the rustling of palm leaves and the distant cries of a lone night bird. Nkiru lay asleep in her small home, the crown safely stored nearby. Amara crept through the shadows, her heart pounding with fear and excitement. She approached Nkiru's home quietly, careful not to wake anyone. For a moment, she paused and remembered their promise by the river. No jealousy will ever live between us. But the thought did not stop her. The seed of envy had grown into a tree, strong and dark. The door creaked slightly as she entered. Nkiru stirred but did not wake. Amara reached for the crown. Just as her fingers touched the golden edges, a soft voice stopped her. "Nkiru, always trust your heart," whispered the queen mother, suddenly appearing behind her. Amara jumped back, startled. The queen mother's eyes were sharp, piercing into her soul. "You let envy guide you, child, and envy is the shadow of betrayal." Amara's hands shook. I only wanted what was mine," she whispered. "You wanted power more than friendship," said the queen mother, her voice calm but firm. "Remember, destiny does not reward those who act from anger." Nkiru awoke, frightened by the voices. She saw the crown in Amara's hands and the fire in her friend's eyes. "Nkiru, what are you doing?" she asked, voice trembling. Amara's face twisted with emotion. I just wanted what should have been mine," she shouted. Before anyone could move, the Queen Mother raised her hand. A bright, warm light filled the room, and the crown flew gently back onto Nkiru's head. Amara stumbled backward, shocked and scared. She fell to her knees, realizing that her actions had failed. The village was silent. The only sound was her own heavy breathing. Nkiru stood, heart pounding but calm. She looked at her friend, tears in her eyes. "Nkiru, why?" she whispered. Amara's envy turned into regret. Tears streamed down her face. I was jealous. I thought it was mine." The Queen Mother stepped forward, her voice steady. "Every action has a consequence, child, and envy always reveals itself in the darkest night." The night of betrayal had ended, but the hearts of the two friends would never be the same. One had chosen kindness and patience. One had let jealousy take the lead. In Umu-Nze village, whispers of the night would linger for years to come. A crown had chosen a queen, but the first crack in friendship had already formed.
The sun rose over Umu-Nze village, painting the roofs with gold. But the village was quiet. The night of betrayal had left a shadow that lingered in every corner. Nkiru sat by the river, the crown on her head, her heart heavy. She had kept her promise of kindness and humility, even when her closest friend had tried to steal her destiny. But her heart ached for Amara. Amara had not left the village. She sat alone under the Iroko tree, head bowed, tears streaming down her face. She had realized the full weight of her actions. Her jealousy had almost destroyed everything she had cherished: their friendship, their trust, and even her own peace. The Queen Mother approached them both. "Children," she said softly, "the crown does not choose for beauty, nor wealth, nor strength. It chooses the heart that is pure, the heart that is ready to serve and not just to receive." Amara looked up at Nkiru, shame written on her face. I am sorry, Nkiru," she whispered. "I let envy blind me. I almost lost you, and I have lost my own peace as well." Nkiru reached out, her hand trembling. "Amara, we cannot undo the past, but if your heart truly wishes to change, we can heal together." Amara nodded, tears falling freely. It would take time, but she would remember the lesson of this night forever. The villagers watched silently. Some whispered about how envy had almost destroyed friendship. Some marveled at how destiny had chosen wisely. But all understood one truth: a heart guided by jealousy can never hold power well. From that day forward, Nkiru ruled with humility and grace. Amara worked to rebuild her own heart, learning that true happiness comes from love, not envy. And in Umu-Nze village, the story was told again and again. Friendship is precious. Do not let jealousy live in your heart. True greatness comes not from the crown you wear, but from the kindness and purity you hold inside. The river still whispered their laughter from long ago. The moon still watched over the village at night. And the two girls, though changed forever, would always remember the promise they had made by the river long ago. Because a crown may choose a queen, but only the heart can choose a true friend.